Hello, everyone. Welcome to KAMDI Conversations, and I am always excited to have my guests here. I have some very beautiful special guests here today. And before I officially introduce them, I want everyone who's watching, be sure you click on the StreamYard link if it's available, and let us know who you are. That will allow StreamYard to give us your name. And I want to recognize you if you say hello or you have a question. So please feel free to post your comments and questions, and I will be happy to read them to our guests. So I want to get going because I'm excited. So let me go ahead and start. I know people are coming in, but let me formally introduce what a wonderful way to end Black History Month, I think, than to do it with a group that to me brought us some Black history in the music area. And the beautiful ladies of Skyy. Welcome.
Hey, thank you, Tanya. How are you?
Thank you. I've been looking forward to this so very much. I call my ladies that I don't have a lot of ladies that come on, believe it or not, but the beautiful ones. You're always my beautiful ones.
Okay.
Ladies that come on. You are beautiful inside and out. I already know that just from talking to you briefly prior to this, but thank you so very much for coming. Yay!
We're so happy to be here with you, Tanya. Finally, we watch your show, and so now we get a chance to be on it. This is just amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, and thank you for watching. I appreciate your support. I never know who's watching. You just never know who's watching. So it's
That's
good.
Right.
I appreciate you. So let's go ahead and dive in. People are joining us and saying hello. And I'm going to read some of those in just a minute because they're just coming in right now. So I'm going to ask the first question because I always ask this at the beginning. I want people to know this. How did this all get started for you all? Take us back just a few years and tell us, how did it start? Tell where you're from and how it actually got started for you. So whoever would like to answer that, or all of you can answer.
Okay, well, we're originally from Brooklyn, New York. We were born and raised in Brooklyn, me and my sisters, in case people haven't quite figured that out. We are sisters. And we went to a high school in Brooklyn, and we were in our music chorus there. And so that's where our musical orientation really started. Mm-hmm. We used to sing in the talent shows, and we used to sing in something called Sing, which is like a play for the high school grades. And we just loved performing so much that by the time we graduated from high school, we started like performing locally with a band. We had Deborah's Brothers Band initially. I can't remember the name of it either, but
they will never remember.
Yes. But then we were the Sounds of Soul, right? Skyy Ray, then the Sounds of Soul. But that's where it started. And we met Randy Muller at the
Miss Black New York State pageant in 1973. It
was Miss Black America.
Yeah, Miss Black America in 1973. And a woman that we used to babysit for, her husband was actually was part of the mainstream of the talent.
Right, he was a pageant director.
He was a pageant director. And so he introduced us to Randy and said, I got some girls, because we used to do a lot of things for him as well, in and around the projects, because we're from the projects.
Yes.
And so he introduced us to Randy. He said, I got some girls that can sing. And Randy was, everybody says they can sing. But fortunately, we really could sing.
Right.
And at that time, there was a fourth member who actually was a classmate of ours. And we winded up doing Old Man River by the Temptations a cappella.
Right, that was our audition.
That was our audition
song.
That was our showstopper song.
Right.
And when we did that, Randy said, well, you are correct. They can sing. And so that took us for opening up for Brass Construction for years.
Okay.
Before they got their first album. And
so, you know what I didn't do? I'm going to back up just a minute. Can each of you introduce yourselves? We only got one name on the screen. So if you could just tell us.
You warned me about that. My bad, Tanya.
That's okay.
I'm Denise.
I'm Dolores.
And I'm Bonnie.
Thank you, ladies. Okay, so everybody knows who is who. I wanted to make sure they got your names. So that brought us up to you meeting the person that got you started, basically.
Yes.
We got a couple. Remedy is saying hello. She says, I may be young, but my mom made sure I knew who you all were.
All right. Thank you, Mom. That's right. Thanks to her mom.
Yes.
She said, my daughter's name is Skyy.
Oh, wow. What an honor.
Yes. Hey, John Cunningham, part of our fans of Unsung Tears are in the house. And Ryan is saying, Ryan Bain says, a blessed birthday to you in advance, Denise. Denise, when's your birthday?
It's tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow? What happened?
Yes. Interesting little fact about us. You're going to love this. So for 1 week, we are exactly a year apart because Bonnie's birthday was last Sunday. And so right now we're stair steps in age. Bonnie's 66. Dolores is
67.
And I am 68. And I will be 69 tomorrow.
Are you serious? I didn't expect you to say that. What?
Yeah. We are so happy to be alive and still
gosh. Yeah, you look fabulous.
You don't mind putting it out there.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So,
I see. I'm so impressed and I'm so shocked. You threw me that way. I didn't expect you to say. You saw my mouth. I was.
Don't have to
We
lie.
are so. Let me tell you something. We are so grateful to our parents for the great genes.
Right.
Number one, and just we've led really happy, for the most part, happy productive lives, looking out for one another all these years. And, we're just so grateful with everything that's going on that, we're able to sit here and still be able to do what we love.
Yes. We had a curfew.
Yes, we had a curfew. But yeah, growing up, yes.
Yeah.
Mommy saved a lot on the early years so that we could have more on the back end.
Okay, that works though. It worked. Well, thank you for sharing that happy belated birthday, happy early birthday. And so what do I say? When's your birthday?
A couple of months.
Mine isn't until the summertime, and it will be beach time.
Okay. It's a happy early birthday to you.
Yeah, not until July. We good.
Oh, July. Okay. So very early. Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you for. I had to get over that. Okay, let me move on. I didn't expect you to say that. You all look, and I know I haven't seen you live, but everything I've seen online of you all singing still recently, you sound phenomenal. So
Thank you.
I was gonna get to that later, but since you already said your age, I might as well say you look good and you sound good. So
thank you. Thanks, Tanya.
oh, yes. So let's keep walking. I would tell LAW, aka the most talented kid in the biz, that you ladies said hello.
Okay, is that Law?
Law. I thought he was saying LAW. So Law.
Yes, baby, who's very talented himself. If it's the right Law.
They're saying they're in shock with what you just said. I'm reading the comments to you because that's. Somebody said, "Love me some Dolores Milligan." I don't know. Somebody didn't give me the name on that one. They didn't hit StreamYard. It just says user.
Am I trying to be incognito?
Okay. That might be the case too.
Yeah.
John said, it's been a while since I've seen them backstage, Queensbridge Park, 2017.
Oh, great.
That
was a summer
stage.
Concert, which we were so happy they brought us back, invited us back with three New York summer stage concerts. And to us, that is like major because they choose
that means everybody
talent
from home is going to be there.
That's right. Everybody from home is there, but also the fact that they choose a pool of talent from all over the country.
Yes, they do.
And so for them all over the world, you're absolutely right, Bonnie. You're absolutely right. So for them to have chosen us, you know what I'm saying, 3 times in a row, really is we feel very honored. And we were supposed to go back again.
We were supposed to let's talk about 2020.
Well, that is a compliment. You did a good job when they keep asking you to come back. So
yeah.
But let's go ahead and continue with the story. I'll read some more comments a little later. They're coming in. But so tell me what happened from there. So who inspired you all before we go to? So who were you? I heard you say something about the Temptation song.
Well, yeah, our early influences were really the male groups of the 70s, because we always loved not only the harmonies, but the routines.
Yes.
You know, most of the female groups did the little sway and bounce kind of moves. But
and maybe 1 or 2 steps, but the male groups were the entertainers.
Yes.
Right.
They gave you a visual show, complete with spins, turns, you know, hand movements. It was more visually entertaining than doing this.
Right. That's true.
So we wanted to do both. We wanted to give them the harmonies that they required in terms of vocals, but we also wanted to visually entertain them so that they could say, "Oh, oh, oh," as opposed to go, "Oh."
Okay. Very good. Thank you for that. You all are visually entertaining. So that's great. That's interesting. So, but outside of the Temptations and for that, were there any other groups that inspired you, or any other music that inspired you all to want to sing, or groups that inspired you?
Well, you know what? I would have to say, Denise said, you know, the Temptations, and then I'm going back, the Unifics, the Dramatics, you know, any group that had those harmonies and those steps is what we always looked at.
Okay.
And we were fortunate because our mom and dad sang around the house all the time, you know, even though they weren't professional singers. So, and we watched the different shows back in the 60s and watched the different groups.
Right. I was going to say the Andrews sisters. I think we were very much influenced, believe it or not, by late 50s, early 60s. White female groups, I hate to say, because those were the ones that were most visible on television. So it was the McGuire sisters. They had the greatest harmonies. And that's what used to speak to us, really. So it was the McGuire sisters, the Andrews sisters, the Lennon sisters.
The Fred Waring sisters, even.
Yeah. We were really young. We were really like preteen, tweens, when we used to watch them on stage. But it was something about that harmony and the tightness of their harmonies that spoke to us in terms of giving us a desire to want to sing. But certainly it was the R&B, group, the Motown sound and all of that Philly sound that started to come into play. Once we got old enough to be able to choose our radio station and listen to music that, you know what I'm saying, that we like.
That these shows start to let Black entertainers on.
Ed Sullivan.
You know, Ed Sullivan, especially Martha and the Vandellas, the 3 Degrees, you know, those kinds of groups. Women started coming on, and we were like, well, you know, this is kind of interesting. Now we're seeing the other side of the music, and like Denise said, now it's the R&B.
People who look like us.
That's pretty awesome. And I have to say, you are the first group that has ever mentioned somebody like the Andrews sisters. That's very interesting to me. I love it.
So you also have to remember, Tanya, too, because them being sisters, the harmony lended itself to just being in tune with one another.
Yes.
And a lot of people even say that about us. We can open our mouths and just be speaking in harmony. So it's like, it's that sister tightness that they had made sense for us.
Right.
And I was going to ask you about that. So when did you just start singing one day and you all fell into harmony, or was that in the chorus that you found it, or what happened?
I think it was chorus.
Well, we learned formally about singing in harmony, but from being in chorus. But if you remember, even when we used to sing the dreaded Function at the Junction.
Yes.
And I say that because I had a little mishap singing the song. Our aunt was an opera singer.
Right.
And we didn't really realize how well plugged in she was to the Black operatic music scene of the 50s and 60s. Some of the people that I want to use the word ran with, were really prolific. One gentleman, Mr. Boatwright, he was responsible for publishing a lot of the Negro spirituals. That was his function. And so these people were friends of hers. So, you know, we kind of got a little bit influenced by, being with her. And then we would be trying harmonies, but it wasn't until we went to high school where we sang in chorus, where we understood, how to block each of our voices in terms of Dolores being a soprano,
Now, me being a
Bonnie
soprano, and you're right,
and me being an alto tenor. So then you start to figure out, sort of where those fit, you know?
And Miss Lynn put us in the spots that we were supposed to be in.
Right.
Okay, very good. And by the way, we found out who that Dolores lover was. Marquez Gaines. There you are. Marquez.
Marquise. Oh, okay.
Marquise. That's my buddy, yes. He said, that was me, Tanya. Yes, thanks for watching, Marquez. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, absolutely, the guys' groups were awesome, but the ladies added class. That's what Joel Sanderson said.
Thank you.
Yes, that's just what I love. Male performing is off the chain. Ursula's saying that. Wow, you are taking me back. That's what they're saying. Ladies of Skyy are the best. That's what Angela is saying. So I just wanted to make sure I read some of these to you.
Okay.
Hey, Lavinia, what's up, sis? That's from
Lavinia.
Is that Lavinia Bright?
Well, there's Julius Freeman said, "Hey, Lavinia, what's up?"
Julius is talking. Okay. Now Julius is one of those guys that have been with us day one.
Yeah.
Great photographer.
Amazing photographer.
He's saying it's great to see my girls. That's what he's saying.
Pictures of us that nobody else is seeing.
He's got the candid shots. For
Exactly.
sure.
Oh, okay. So photographer, awesome. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so let's walk the story up. Tell us from there what happened. So how did we get to?
So after we had been with Brass Construction and did it was mostly local touring, local things with them. They got their record deal with Capitol Records, and they basically Randy introduced us to Solomon. So it's funny because Solomon, we always thought was the photographer guy. Right. He was always hanging around. We had no idea that he was actually a musician. But he had a band called Fuel, I think.
I think it was Fuel.
Fuel.
Yes,
Yeah.
Fuel.
So Solomon, Butch, and Gerald. Oh, and he had a different bass player.
Right.
The other guy. Mike Pommier and another Mike. There were two Mikes.
Mike Pommier played congas.
Right.
But
the other Mike
played bass. Right. So he started out with those guys, and then Randy basically introduced us to Solomon. And we started working with him. Now, of course, then we were doing cover songs, a lot of Yes You Can, Yes You Can. We used to love that.
Sisters, okay.
Yes. So, but then once Randy started to really emerge as this amazing producer, because he wrote and produced Brass Construction, BT Express, and Raphael Cameron. He started to emerge as this amazing producer, and so him and Solomon started to collaborate and write songs for what ultimately became Skyy, and they put all the music together. Once Randy got well established in the industry as a producer. They got together, wrote all these songs, and started shopping the songs around to different record companies. Mm-hmm. And Sal Soul was in the position mentally and in terms of, I guess, what they wanted out of the next artist that they would sign to their label. We kind of fit into that mold because they were really known more as a club disco label.
Yes.
Okay. Had First Choice on their
First
label.
Choice, Double Exposure,
and then
Carol Williams,
and then they had
Montana, Joe Bataan.
He was also part of, like the South Soul Orchestra. So he was
and Charo. A lot of people don't even really know this, or may not know, but Charo, who was an amazing female Latin artist, was also part of that label as well. So for us, Lolita Holloway, we cannot forget about our girl Lolita. All of these people were part of that label. So our sound, our 70s sound, I should say, fit right in with what they were doing. And, Sal Soul really, we were so appreciative of the work that they put in to help us gain the recognition that we did in the industry at that time.
And so where did the name Skyy come from?
Oh, Lord. We were sitting around trying to figure out what to call ourselves.
Going through the dictionary.
Yeah, just close your eyes, turn a page, stick your finger in what you come up with. Well, it wasn't quite. Wasn't right. They didn't work. Right? So Solomon, I think, is the first one that said Skyy.
Right. I think he was.
And he said we're going to add the extra Y because the sky is ever changing. It has so many different elements to it. And when you look at the individual musicians that came together to form Skyy, Butch had a sort of rock and roll background. Gerald had a deep 70s soul background because he was the bass player for the Moments.
Larry just had a
fusion. Larry, our keyboard player, was
very
really
fusion.
Into the fusion and the electronic sounds. You know what I mean? Everybody brought something different in terms of their talent. And, you know, of course, the three of us with the smooth vocal harmonies that were basically bred from choral singing, you know what I mean? So that's what, so when we came up with the concept of Skyy, we can't leave this out. Then Tommy, our drummer, ever the, you know, moon in the seventh house guy, came up with this whole concept of us being from a planet called Yinzalia. Because think about it, during that time, Star Wars, Star Trek, all of that stuff was very, very popular. So we were just kind of riding that wave. And so then Tommy came up with the Yinzalian dream.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
It's a whole nother story.
I have it written down somewhere, Tanya. I'll...
But that came with the costumes and all of that. Right? Yeah. Okay.
We're supposed to be spreading love, peace, and harmony through our music. And through our music. Yes.
I love it. I love it. A couple more comments I want to get in here. My buddy, my partner from the Fans of Unsung page, Luther, says, my queen of Skyy, welcome to the platform. Please stay on and enjoy. We called on you and you answered. Thank you. So
Luther is the greatest. Thank you so much.
Yeah, he's great. I'm glad he was able to make it. Ursula has popped in. She wished she could stay, but she has to go. Can't wait to work with our sisters again. We'll talk later.
Yeah, that's our
lady.
Yes, love her.
Thanks, Ursula, for joining. Okay, so we got through that. I was dying to ask you about the Skyy because I hadn't heard where the name came from. None of the interviews, nothing. I didn't hear that. So that's very interesting. And you all took it and ran with it, right?
Yes.
Even if you close your eyes and picked it, it works. So.
There you go.
I am happy you all are here. You know, there's an unsung debate that always goes on the Fans of Unsung page about who's really unsung, or, you know, because there's a lot of artists on there, people don't agree, that are considered unsung. But I have to say, I think, me personally, that I am so glad they did a show on you, because I truly think your story needed to be told, because you truly are unsung. I think people didn't know enough about you. We forget how many hits you had. So did you feel, how did you feel when they approached you about doing the show? And
oh my goodness. So we were trying to get on that show because, for the very reason that you spoke of, we just felt that maybe our story has not been told to the world. Like, we've had regional success, you know, it's like it's pockets of success, even though our music is known worldwide and countrywide. But to your point, we felt that being on Unsung would definitely give us a more national exposure and weave our history together. Because our career spans 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Isn't that?
I don't know how many groups can really, you know, take that type of credit, you know, for being able to transcend those genres of music and those time periods of music. So when they finally came around to us and asked us to be on the Unsung, we were beside ourselves.
and we wanted to do it so much because we wanted people to see that there are groups that did not have the drama.
Yes.
Because so many people come on Unsung and it's so much, you know, I mean, not to say we didn't have, there was an issue.
Yes.
There was an issue.
Always stuff. But
I understand.
But not, I mean, just what, not even just as sisters, but among the band and the business.
Right.
So we wanted to be able to let people know that you could still come from that time, and it wasn't always drugs, rock and roll, people fighting, tearing up the bus, you know. sleeping
Right.
with somebody.
No, that's very true.
Or whatever.
Yeah, and it was not about, we went into it with the idea that there's no, I mean, there was, everybody has dirty laundry, but we were there to tell the story of our musical rise. It
Right.
wasn't about airing any dirty laundry, because you keep your laundry to yourself. You wash it out in the sink, you hang it up in the bathroom. You don't hang it outside.
Right. But you all are classy. That's just what that says right there.
That's exactly what we wanted to portray. And it's interesting because we had not had a conversation with Solomon for quite some time prior to the Unsung, because most of the efforts that led to that were through Austin, my husband Austin, as our manager and manager of Ladies of Skyy. Our thing has always been to keep the legacy of Skyy's music going. We promised the guys that when we decided to move forward as Ladies of Skyy, that we would never assume the name Skyy. Because Skyy is really Randy, not Randy, but Solomon, Gerald, Butch, Tommy, Wayne, those entities is what makes up Skyy. So we had not spoken to Solomon in a little while, and I said, well, you got to reach out to Sol. We had been in touch with Randy over the years, and we were fortunate to be able to reach out to some of the people who that worked with us at Atlantic Records,
Tony Winger from Archie.
Because we knew they could tell that side of the story, like the business side of the story or the record company's viewpoint. And we even had our road manager, Ron Saunderson.
So it was a great episode. It was
that they finally did the piece on us.
Yes, and we're glad they did. I want to make sure I read this one. Angela Trice Berry says, "Can you tell Denise I'm her #1 fan? I love her and her sisters too." She is. So I want to read that.
Thank you, Angela. I appreciate you, baby.
Okay.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what makes it all worth it for us to keep doing this. I have to be honest. We really appreciate
a lot of love comments coming in. Hi, my favorites is from John Sanders. Love you all so much. Continue blessings. Hi, beautiful ladies of Brooklyn, LG, NYC, Skyy.
LG.
So let's go ahead. I want to go ahead and bring in and have the KAMDI mini mix. Unsung Tears know about it. There's a lot of your fans are on here as well. I want to introduce DJ 12 in our KAMDI. Hey, DJ 12, you're up. You there? Yeah. Hey.
Yes.
Welcome. Thank you for coming in.
I'm here.
Okay, everybody who is watching and listening, we're about to have our KAMDI mini mix. We're gonna see what kind of fans you got out there, Ladies of Skyy. We'll see if you all can name these songs. Just put it in the post. We're going to see how many you can name that DJ 12 is going to play for us. So DJ 12, I hand it over to you.
Well, just so you know, it's an honor and a pleasure to do this for you ladies. I'm a Skyy fan because I'm a Bronx kid, but Brooklyn is in the building. So I already know. That's right. Yeah, 10-4K. So y'all ready? Let's do this.
Yes.
Here we go. So let's see. You all can post the name of the song in the chat. Let's see if you know. I know you know this one.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was nice. Woo! I like that.
But you thought I didn't know that? I told you.
What?
We knew you knew.
Somebody got it. Uh-oh. Y'all are having too much fun listening to yourselves.
You up in that mix.
I can do that too. I'm an honorary member.
There's no one else like you. Your style, your personality, like a dream come true.
All right now.
I swim in ocean and a mountain high. Oh, what does it take to make you mine? Oh my, that's love.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Y'all gotta know that's my favorite playing right now.
All right.
Everybody has a favorite.
I think you can play this one the longest because that's his favorite.
I'm That bass line is killer. That bass line.
And in order to celebrate Bonnie's birthday, Denise's birthday, got to take it out with this one.
And every time I think of you, I hear a symphony.
Woo-hoo!
Thank you
Yes,
guys.
thank you.
Love you. Happy birthday.
Thank you, DJ 12. We appreciate you so much.
You rocked that, brother. You rocked it.
And DJ 12.
He's in his
Thank you, DJ 12. Tell them where they can listen to you.
That was amazing.
Where can they find you or listen to you? Where can they listen to you,
You
DJ
guys can
12?
catch me every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on WRTWDB Raw Truth Radio. My show is The Time Machine. My name is Vernon House. Your family, your friends, you can very simply call me 12. I'm out of here. Peace. Thank you. Love
Thanks,
you.
DJ
Appreciate the
12.
opportunity.
Thank you so much. Great job. See you soon.
Amazing.
All right. Okay. You guys got a lot of hits. A lot of stuff.
Yeah. See, well, that's the whole thing when you play them all together. When you
Sometimes
start
we
playing
don't
them back to
remember,
back.
how many hits and tell, like Austin says, okay, you have a show. And we'll say, okay, how long is the show? Because we have a 35-minute, a 45-minute, an hour show, and an hour and a half show.
Right.
So, and we don't really realize how many hits we have until we start going towards that hour and that hour and a half show. And then we realize just how many hits.
Well, because each region, regionally, like Super Love, for example, I remember when we added Super Love to the shows because when we were doing that's right,
and
California and Texas,
and
those songs were more popular there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just really, we were always so appreciative to the fans in particular who they pick their favorites. They know what they like. And we're like, okay, well, just tell us what it is. Let me write that down. And when we come to your town, we're going to make sure we do the ones you like.
So what is you all's favorite, and each one can answer this, your favorite song to perform?
To perform?
Oh, to perform. For me, I want to say Call Me. I love performing Call Me. I just love it. I just love the reaction from the crowd. And for us as Ladies of Skyy, when we were initially branding or rebranding as Ladies of Skyy, people weren't initially making the connection between Skyy and us. Right. But always when we would walk in and we would hit, let's celebrate, here's to you, hi, call me.
Yes.
You see the recognition factor on people's faces because we sound exactly the same.
Yes, you do. You do.
Yeah. So for me, Call Me.
Okay, Dolores.
I couldn't begin. Well, we just recently redid Show Me the Way. And I think I really like the steps to Show Me the Way because it's such an easy song to do. But of course, Let's Celebrate. That's, or Here's to You is one of the easy, one of the really bring it down, a lot of steps. It's more, I'll say how the males would step. It's a snappy kind of tune to do.
Well, for me, I'm going to have to say it's a song that we add when we do the hour show. Okay. And that would be Let Love Shine.
Okay.
Yeah. That is a song that was written by our drummer, Tommy. And Tommy knew how to write for us. And not that Saul didn't, but Tommy, for some strange reason, really knew how to write those harmonies for us. Okay. So for me, I would have to say Let Love Shine. And it's a sleeper song.
Yeah.
So because a lot of people don't know it. Yeah. But when they hear it, it's a totally different reaction because they're like, oh, I don't know. Some people know it and some people don't. But once we perform it, then the crowd is, you can look at the crowd and tell that they're really getting into the song.
Yeah, because it's a very pleasing song.
Pleasing,
It's the
beat.
one song that people, it really showcases our vocal harmonies.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's got this real funky beat, and we actually get the audience up
to dance,
to dance on that song.
Oh, okay, very good.
Yeah, that's a fun song to do. Yeah.
Okay, and one more to make you think. What is your most memorable performance?
Okay, so I'm going to say Japan, when we performed in Japan, because, you know, for some reason, we just never think about people on the other side of the world actually being familiar with your music. And so in Japan, as you may know, they're very culturally tied to their language, you know, and how they, you know, operate. But they were singing our songs in English, and that was a shocker to me at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. I think for me, it was the Apollo.
The Apollo? Okay. Wonderful.
I do have to say, excuse me, for me, it was the Radio City Music Hall show when we were touring with Kool and the Gang. Because we toured with Kool and the Gang for 13 months.
Yes. And I was going to ask you about that, but I'll let you finish with that.
For us to perform at home at Radio City, there's 3 places that people in New York always want to perform. Madison Square Garden,
Which we did.
The Apollo, which we did, and Radio City Music Hall.
Check.
I wasn't there.
Those are the 3 places that, you know.
Yeah.
And when you're an artist,
You were there. You were in the front row.
Oh, yes, I was.
that you would want to, and to perform there with such a great group of guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the
So that's
best tour ever.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you. Okay, so tell me about I love Kool and the Gang.
Ooh.
So tell me about that tour.
Well, you know, it was such a cohesive, cooperative adventure. I won't even say venture. I'm going to say it was an adventure, because both of our careers, like, we were on the rise, no doubt, because that was when Call Me came out, and we were kind of vying for the first spot on the R&B on the Billboard charts with all of Kool and the Gang's many hits.
Yes.
There is nothing more pleasurable than to go out with a bunch of decent human beings, because people think that the road is just fun and giddy and, you know, it's partying and all of that. Being on a tour of that magnitude is hard work, because you are traveling. At least for us, you know, back in the day, we weren't flown here and flown there. We were on a tour bus traveling from city to city. The beautiful thing was we traveled with the same lighting company, the same sound company, because this was just one of those super packaged tours. The promoters were all amazing, and Kool and the Gang really took us under their wing
and treated us. They didn't treat us like an opening act,
right?
You know, and we would weave in and out. Like, sometimes they would have a show somewhere else, and then we would have a show somewhere else. But they never treated us like an opening act.
Okay.
There wasn't anything that they would not do for us.
Right.
Would not help us understand. They really showed us what the road really was.
Right.
And their crew and our crew was sort of like a family.
It was
great. They just worked so well together. There wasn't any, worry about positioning on the stage, and because there were sometimes when they had to be in the next city sooner than we did, so they would open and then we would close the show, and it was never any kind of fighting or anything like that. So it just worked so well.
Yeah. And they're just gentlemen. Every last one of them are just the most amazing human beings. We fell in love with JT, Kool, all of them were just, so great.
George,
we will forever have the fondest memories of
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes.
because you hear horror stories about tours and stuff, but I have met them and know a couple of them, and their egos don't get in the way.
There's none.
No.
Right.
See, that's 9/10 of having the harmony, that we did have. You
And
know what
having
I'm
a
saying?
decent tour.
And because there's a lot of technical stuff behind the scenes stuff that, like I said, the audience just has no idea of what's really going on behind the scenes. You know what I mean? And they just, their manager at the time was Sam. Top notch dude, honey. He ran that show.
Yes, he did.
ran that tour. So
Yes, he did.
that was the highlight of our career.
Yes.
When I saw that tour, heard about that tour, I thought, I wanted to ask you about that. Now, you three are sisters. You, of course, grew up together, have worked together pretty much your whole lives, right? And what is that like?
Yeah, well, my mother instilled this in us at a very early age. That we must always look out for each other and we must always operate and step together. For the longest time, there was no separation of friends. My friends were their friends because wherever I went, they would have to go irrespective. And again, because we're so close in age, it's not like I would have, like, even in high school, some of their classmates. Our classmates had little sisters that were Bonnie's
brothers that were my classmates. Yeah. So, and then when we did the thing together, their friends actually became my friends.
Right. So my mother just raised us. My mom and dad. I don't want to disinclude Daddy. Because he was certainly the breadwinner. He's a bus driver, by the way, New York City bus driver. He showed us how a man really takes the lead and takes care of his home and make sure his girls. Matter of fact, he stopped my mother from working once because I can tell this story, but okay, so I was a baby, but somebody was babysitting me. And I was coming down with diaper rash, right? And my father, and they weren't changing me properly. And my father said, "Oh, absolutely no. And asked talked to my mom and said, "Listen, I will do whatever needs to be done to maintain this family, but I need you to be there raising them girls." So as a result, we had this very close relationship with her, and she raised us literally like triplets almost. And
we, like Denise said, we had a very good close relationship with our dad because our dad would take us out until my mother found out he was taking us to the garage.
Okay.
Working on cars. That greasy.
Underneath the car.
Bang, but hair flying all over the place. And she's trying to figure out where in the world.
Yeah, the bang was kind of like over here.
Dresses all greased up. And
she started dressing us accordingly.
Right.
Because if Daddy's going to take you out, then you got to have on some pants and a beat-up shirt. Exactly. You're going to be underneath the car. Oh, well, okay. Yes. But he had us.
Right. But see, it's just that type of foundation that makes us to this minute still be, close and looking out for each other.
That explains a lot. So tell me, okay, 2 questions for you. The first one is, there was time when you didn't have hits, a long period of time at one point. What did you do during that time and how did you get through it?
Day jobs. We always had day jobs.
Mama said learn how to type.
When we would come off the road, back then there were temp agencies.
Right.
And we were always so used to working. When we come off the road, we go to work.
I love it. Yeah.
We would literally call. We'd be on the tour bus on the way back home, and I would call my temp agency. We had the same agency, actually, because they knew we were, performers,
Right.
And so we would call pro temps. Thanks for remembering that. I forgot. That's why you have younger sisters, so they remember stuff. So we would call pro temps, and my goodness, before we would actually get in town, they would have assignments for us. So we were very fortunate. To be able to have that to fall back on financially.
Yes.
And so especially when for those drought years, when between albums and between releases, we had skills that we could fall back on, so we would be able to, work.
Yes. And I'm glad you shared that, because for for those that may hear or watch this that are people who want to be artists or want to get into this business or industry, they need to hear that.
That's right.
The backup plan, or as the saying goes that I always used to say,
And Tanya, I'm sorry for cutting you up. And I always, we talk about day jobs and we make like a little joke about day jobs, but it really hit home when the pandemic hit.
Yes.
And I said to people, you know, and so many artists, it's really sad that so many artists are struggling financially, and especially the artists, some of them that may be our age.
Yes.
And I said, you've got to have that day job. So when retirement age comes,
you have a skill. You have a skill to fall back on, whatever it might be. For us, it can be secretarial, but whatever it happens to be, you know, it's useful.
That's right.
The second plan, your plan B. And the quote I was going to say is, do what you got to do till you get to where you want to be. For those that are aspiring to do things, and no, it may not come in your time frame. You know, God has another plan for you, another time frame for you. So thank you for sharing that. I think people needed to hear that. And you actually touched on the next question I was going to ask is, what have you ladies been doing since COVID hit?
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. When COVID first hit, we was laying back because, you know, and we were even afraid to even get in each other's faces at that point. But we got through that part of it. Right. Because we can't stand to be not in each other's faces. There's just something. I don't know. I'll see you next week. But anyway, so what we have done, we have an amazing team that works with us. We have a media team, Lycan Media. We have a marketing team, Andre Woodard and Asa Lovechild. We have an amazing makeup team. You know, of course, those are the people that make us look kind of okay.
Beautiful.
The media team, though, has now centered us to really developing our brand, and putting out content that is introducing us to things like these types of shows, Tanya, what you're doing, and Fans of Unsung, you know what I mean? And we've been doing a lot of interviews, number one, talking with people all across the country, and it has been so much fun, I am telling you.
And then we had one from the Amsterdam.
Yes, we've even had one from Europe, one from England and Amsterdam. We've done interviews with those markets as well. So that's one thing we've been doing. And we're also doing a video of one of the wonderful songs that everybody loves, but I'm not going to reveal just yet.
Okay.
My phone started ringing from the media team because it's like they're holding back the horses. You know what I mean? Because in the springtime, all of this stuff that we're doing is going to come out. We are working on new material. We teamed up with a French production group, and we've completed that song. That song is already in the can and set to be released in late spring, early summer. We're going to do a video on that song. And then we're going to, in 2 weeks, we're going to be recording another new song. And we've got 3 more offers from people.
Michael Black, we're doing a great song for our wonderful friend. Michael Black.
Charisma Entertainment. So we're just now aligning ourselves with, those types of things to kind of move us forward. Because for years, we've been trying to find like the right song to represent ladies of Skyy, and people would come with things and we're just like, it's kind of hard to follow the Skyy music act, so to speak. But now we feel that we're finally getting things, that'll represent the ladies of Skyy and Skyy.
And we're dealing with remote learning.
Oh yeah, Bonnie, yes. That's what poor Bonnie, she's got 2 beautiful granddaughters, and she's
Oh, I feel your pain. I understand completely. But that's another show. That's another show.
Me and you gonna do that one by ourselves.
Yes, it's just you and Bonnie on that one.
Yeah. Yes, that's a whole other show.
Right.
Well,
hold on.
That's right. But believe it or not, we only have about 5 minutes left.
We was having fun.
I know when you're having fun, time flies.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure, I was going to play. I'll give you one group. I play that little game sometimes, and I give you a name.
One group.
So maybe we could do one or two. I'm going to name a group or an artist, and you tell me the first thing that comes to mind when you hear it, okay?
Okay.
All right, here's the first one. Mary Wilson and/or the Supremes.
Oh, stop in the name of love. And those wigs, honey,
Yes.
those wigs.
And those fringe, those ruffly tops.
Yeah, right.
Remember those ruffly tops?
Yes, I do.
Yes,
And baby loves.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Pumps, pointed toe pumps.
Yes.
Kitten heels.
Kitten heels.
So let's see. You're not gonna expect this one. Let me see what you come up with. The group Switch.
Switch. Now we toured with them.
We toured. Wait.
Oh man.
Here you go, Tanya.
The name on the name of the song on the tip of my
Switch.
tongue.
I call your name. They'll never be.
Yes.
I was
Oh,
wondering.
Yes.
Now,
We actually did a show with them.
We sure
I
did.
know you did. That's why I was.
That's the funk. Yeah, that's the funk.
Yeah.
But they were LA, right? Weren't they West Coast?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
That's the whole
from
solar connection.
Gregory is from Michigan. A couple of them, and DeBarge, they were from Michigan, and then
Right.
some of the
Okay.
other ones were. They got some from Ohio. I know that because I'm from Ohio. So some of them are from Ohio. Okay. Chic.
Oh,
Good times.
come on, our girls.
Our
Alvin
girls.
Anderson. Go, Bonnie. Go.
Alvin
I'll let you because they
Anderson,
love you to
Lucy
death.
Martin and Norma Jean. Right.
I
Yes.
love them all. Those are my other beautiful ones. Yes.
Had a nice conversation with Norma Jean last week. Every so often I go through my contacts and I text our people to see if they okay. And Norma Jean, I don't know, for some strange reason, she went across my mind, and I texted her to see how she was doing. And she said, I am so glad to hear from you. She said, it's very rare that you hear from people that, you don't see often.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those
Yes.
three.
And she co-wrote one of our songs. I always forget the
Yes.
name of it, but Norma Jean was involved in writing one of our
Yes.
songs.
I love those ladies too. They're my other beautiful ones. That's what I call them. They were guests as well.
Yes.
One last one, and that is, I'll make it easy. Michael Jackson.
You'll make it.
Oh my goodness. So Dolores in the talent show in 1969. What was the song, Dolores?
I want you back.
Watch it back. I read that.
Yes, that was one of the songs that we did.
And there was
And,
another one we did.
I'll Be There.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Those were songs we did in the talent shows. And we actually met them
Met them.
before they became famous.
Yes.
Oh,
For some reason they were in Brooklyn,
Yes.
and I had a friend,
Darnell.
I had a friend who used to sing with a group called the Voices of East Harlem. And he was plugged into a lot of, just local, well, they weren't local, but, up and coming musicians. And we met them on Fulton Street in Brooklyn.
In front of the library. We were walking down the street.
And who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew that they were going to
Crazy.
become this iconic group? But
okay.
yeah.
Well, I'm not going to name anymore because we're at our end. And I want to make sure before we close, first, just thank you all so much. It was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining
Not
me.
a problem.
This has been great.
Yes. So I want you to come back when you have all these great things going on, when you release them and, so you can come back and talk about them so we can support you. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Tanya.
My pleasure. Before we leave, can you tell everybody where they can follow you and find out information?
Okay. I got the poster over here, so forgive me for looking over here.
That's okay.
So Facebook at Ladies of Skyy.
Yes.
What is that? Twitter. Instagram is the official Ladies of Skyy. You can also find us on www.ladiesofskyepk.com. And what am I leaving out? At Sky of is Twitter. I told Austin to put that thing over
Very
here.
good. That was very
That's
smart.
where the age comes in.
Yeah.
That's okay. You know, you just getting better with time.
They can also reach out to you, Miss Tanya Hawley.
Yes, you
Anybody
can.
that wants to reach us, baby, she's got the direct dial to our manager, Austin Wilkinson.
I sure do. It has been a pleasure speaking with you all. Everybody, please support Skyy. Follow them. Keep in touch so we can find out what they're doing. You can support them. Make sure you follow them on all their social media outlets. You can please subscribe to the KAMDI Group YouTube page. You can see this show again and all the other shows. For all my fans of Unsungeteers, thank you for joining us once again. Ladies, please come back and see us soon.
We will. Thank you so much.
Bye, Delia.
Have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.